Good Sunday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gilloway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports, and we are live from the Orchard Street studio. And this is our High School Hoops weekly recap show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts, along with our special opening guest, as soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show. And they are Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. And let's take a look at them. Oh, boy, are they handsome or what? Hoffman Ford, Payer Apparel, Crystal Bob at Iron Valley Real Estate, Capital Region Insurance Agency, the Tire Mart, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Ted's Bar and Grill, This and That, the podcast, Tonino's Pizza, and the American Legion, the Robert H. Hoke American Legion, Post 272. Thank you to these great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area's student athletes. We'd also like to thank, as we do every show, Penn Live Patriot News. We do use some of their photos pretty much on a regular basis, and they are taken by professional photographers. They work for the Penn Live, and we appreciate the opportunity to use their photos, and they have some great staff photographers. So thank you to Penn Live Patriot News. And we also want to mention, as we do every week, that this is a prostate cancer awareness house. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2022. I had my prostate removed just this past December 5th of 2025. And I just want to kind of encourage the men out there, whether you're a male watching the show or a loved one, a friend, or a family member of a male kind of in the 40 to 50-year-old range that has not had their prostate examined. 1 of 7 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. It's a high number, guys and gals. PSA testing, it's a simple blood test that can kind of get the ball rolling. It's maybe not the way of putting it, but kind of, let you know what's going on there, and hopefully there's nothing. But it wasn't that bad of a experience for me, and hopefully I'm on the path to recovery. And how old should you be when you get this stuff looked at? Anywhere from 40 to 50, depending on your risk. Cancer in the family gives you a higher risk. And African-American men are almost twice as likely to develop prostate cancer than white men, and almost 2.5 times more likely to die of prostate cancer. It is recommended that they are initially tested between 5 to 10 years earlier than white men of the same age. So thank you for putting up with our prostate cancer awareness on a weekly basis. I just think it's important that that people are checked for that stuff. So anyway, we have a girls basketball Fab 15. Fab 15 is we're going to do first team, second team, third team, honorable mention, and our futures, which is 9th and 10th graders. And what we'll do is we'll get together. We have a 5-person committee. We're going to vote, form the list, and then have a show here shortly after the state championships are over. So a lot of great girls basketball players in the Harrisburg area. This will be mid-Penn girls basketball players. And we're excited to do that. So, and then the last thing is we have one more show. It'll be next week, like we did last year. The state championships will be over on Saturday, the 21st, which is next Saturday or this coming Saturday. And then we'll do a show Sunday night at 6:00 and talk about recap the games and hopefully bring in a one last or maybe two, I don't know, but guest coach. We've had some great coaches this year. John, how about the coaches we've gotten this year?
Yeah, I mean, you got them last year too, Joe. I mean, you loaded them up last year, and this year it's been really good.
Holy moly, yeah, our little show, and it is. It's a little Central PA show, but man, we just have been blessed with great guests, and we're blessed once again. Tonight's guest is 10th year West York head coach Garrett Bull. Dream season. I mean, I'm calling it that. Maybe not for them. I mean, maybe it's just business as the per the way that they planned it. But man, what a great season for any team to have. And they are currently in the Final Four in Class 5A. They won a District 3 Class 5A title, first time in 19 years for their school. So let's bring them in now. West York coach Garrett Bull. There he is. How are you, sir?
Great. Glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
We're glad to have you. Yeah, this I'm just going to get started. We're just going to kind of round robin this. I think we all probably have questions for you, but I was at the game, and we had our eyes on. I live in the Harrisburg area, but I follow District 3 basketball a lot, so I knew you guys had a really good team. I saw you guys kept winning and winning and winning. The only game you lost during the regular season was the Central Dauphin, and we know there's no shame in that, right? But
No.
yeah. So, but it kind of my interest kind of peaked and eclipsed. I went over to the to your district championship game at Cumberland Valley's Dome Gym, the Dome, and I was just blown away. I mean, I really was blown away. And I watch a lot of basketball, and I thought, wow, this is how a basketball team is supposed to play. And you guys just really took care of business. I mean, you kind of, and I say this with all respect to Milton Hershey and Coach Scott Rooney, you just ran them out of the gym. I mean, you guys were up 31 in the second half. I forget if it was in the third or the fourth quarter. And I just thought, you guys have a lot of guards on that team, lots of running the floor, at least that night, high IQ players. And they look like they have a lot of familiarity with one another out there. Like they've grown up together, or they've just played a lot of ball together. And is that the case with this group, Coach?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean, there's not one guy on our team that hasn't been going to West York his whole life, from the youth level, middle school ball. Now they all develop differently. And if you look back on 10 years ago when I first got the job, I started getting these kids, maybe they're in their like third and fourth grade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's ones that are no longer with us. There's some of the starters have, turned out much better than maybe we even projected back then. But there's a lot of chemistry because of that. And we do a lot in the off season and to try to build that. And like you said, it's a very high IQ basketball team.
Yeah, you can tell.
It really is. And they take the coaching really well. But then when the game starts, they at this point kind of know what to do.
So yeah, you've had the job for 10 years. You're a young guy to have a varsity head coaching job for 10 years at the high school level, but you only had middle school and JV experience. But they saw something in you, obviously, and a coach has to start somewhere. What was it like being, I think, like 29 years old, right, when you got the head coaching job?
I think it was 29 or something like that.
Yeah,
it was nerve-wracking, to be honest. I kind of took a leap of faith. I was JV at Redline, it's my alma mater. I was teaching there, but I wanted to be head coach. There was only a couple of jobs in the area I would probably even go for, and West York was, when Ackerman stepped down, that was one of them. It's where my high school coach, Parrish Petrie, played. So I had some connections. Guess I interviewed well enough. I didn't really know the principal or the athletic director at the time, but they gave me a shot.
Yeah.
And the first couple of years were a little tricky. I mean, I think Ackerman told me, he's like, well, the cabinets aren't bare, but they're not full. That was what he told me when I got
probably
the job.
Closer to bare, right?
In between. Okay. It took a little bit, but yeah.
Right. Before I turn this over to Dave, I just want to give that's your group right there. So I know you probably you're with these guys all the time, but you probably look at that picture with a lot of pride and a lot of admiration for all they've accomplished to this point in the season. So Dave Berman, jump in, buddy.
All right, Coach, here we go. Pride of Red Lion. And we talked on before the show started, a lot of history in that town. Tell us about playing under the great Pride of West York, Parrish Petrie.
Yeah, it's West York's all-time leading scorer still. So, I feel very fortunate that the athletic directors at the time at Redline, as a kid, you don't know it, but it wasn't really a sought-after job. And when Paul Kuhn stepped down, he was the previous coach after you mentioned Red Stoner. I don't think they had a ton of applicants, and they went out and called Parrish. And the story I got is kind of like, we want you to come here. We want to bring someone in good. And everybody kind of told Petrie he was kind of crazy to take the Red Line job. They're not good at basketball. But he saw our group was in 8th grade at the time. We were pretty good. His son was younger. I owe a lot to him. I learned a lot as a player, but he's really been a mentor to me as a coach and my whole career. He watches most of our games now because of the live streaming capabilities, and we check in and we talk and what should we do differently. And it's a nice shoulder to lean on for sure.
That's what life's all about right there. Those relationships that just don't go away,
100%.
Yeah. John?
Welcome, Coach, and congratulations on your first district title under your leadership and the first for the team since 2007.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the identity of this team. I know Joe alluded to that earlier, and you mentioned it that they've come up together. But tell us about the starting five and the rotation guys.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our averages, I think we got two guys at like 14 points a game, 10, 8, or something, 6, 7, something like that. We don't really feature one guy, play motion basketball, try to read and take what the defense is giving us. I don't call a lot of plays. We have some here and there to try to get the ball to a guy, but um, that I think that makes us hard to guard.
Mhm.
And then defensively, we really pride ourselves in trying to, not give you anything easy. Protect the rim, take away what you're best at. The best. If you got if you're good at shooting threes or you're a big guy, we're going to try to take it away the best we can. We have pretty good group of guys that can switch. They're high IQ, so that really helps on the defensive end. We've got guys that, like a Conrad Beatty, number 0. We'll sometimes put him on the other team's best forward, guard, big
Right.
man. Some of the guys we try to not have them guard the other team's best player and let them roam a little bit, see if they can get steals. It kind of all depends on the game. But, after we lost to York High in the first round of counties, we kind of went at it at practice for a week before district started, and the message was toughness. We got to be tougher. York High was tougher than us. Give them credit. I think
Good
it helped
team, very
wake us
good
up a
team.
little bit. Very good team,
Yeah,
but they,
yeah.
And that was a tough game for us. But they were tougher too in the game. So that message has sunk in. I think the guys have learned talent's not good enough alone. You've got to have that special ingredient, and toughness is right up there with probably the number one ingredient to make a playoff run.
Right. So
Right.
Speaking of tough, you've had a run into so many WPIAL Western PA teams. Those kids, they're just beasts, and you've beaten them, and you have another one coming up
Right.
on this week.
Yeah, I mean, right off the bat, Ringgold. I mean, they were strong. They were physical. They were tough kids. I mean, they reminded me of blue collar, hardworking. We're coming after lunch pail. And I told our guys, and it took us a little bit to pull that one out, but that's what you get. I went to college with some guys from the Whippeal, and so I know what it's kind of about. My wife's from Thomas Jefferson, actually, so we almost ran into them.
Oh, wow. It's where Danny Holzer, the head coach of Upper St. Clair, went to high school.
Okay. Yeah.
Thomas Jefferson. So, what is probably the most famous Ringgold alumni?
Montana is what I heard, right?
There you go.
It can't be anybody above that. No. So, Coach, I don't think that your program has ever been this far in the state tournament. And
this is the farthest from what everybody's told me.
I figured so, yeah. And I was going to ask this question one way or the other, but what's the energy level like right now with the student body? Do they still call it the student body? With the classmates in the school and the teachers and the administration and just the whole West York Bulldogs kind of community. What's that?
I think the community is really, really starting to get after it. I mean, we great support at the district championship game. It was a lot of fun. Had a police kind of escort rally when we got about 5-7 minutes back on the bus ride home.
Fabulous.
People waiting for us back at West York, and came in to the gym, and we went in and cut the net down. The tough thing about these state games is they're just so darn far away.
Mm-hmm.
If the first round, or not the second round, we went to Altoona, it almost feels like a scrimmage, because it's just, you're meeting in the middle for the two schools, and you got the parents and maybe a couple fans. And as you go, you get a little more. So we certainly had more. We actually had a pretty good turnout on Friday to go to Hollidaysburg. Tomorrow will probably be tricky. It's a Monday. It's during the week, but I know people are watching on these live streams. I think there was a watch party at the Vault, which is a restaurant pizza place in West York, and people are sitting there watching on the TV screens. And I get lots of texts from people in the community that they're watching every game. I might not be able to make it, but they're tuning in.
Everything's up a notch right now, right? That's what I hope for. That's what it's all about, man. And just that student athletes being rewarded by people in the community is such a big, big deal. John?
Yeah, so it's tough, coach, like you mentioned, meeting up a lot of these WPIAL teams that, you're meeting in Altoona or Hollidaysburg, just to get a game. And
Johnstown, maybe.
yeah, and that's what happens when you have to face these teams, coming out of District 7. But sort of like a fun question for you here. What's it like beating a planet and a natural satellite in one season? So you beat Mars and Moon.
I think you knew what you were getting at.
We beat Mars. We beat Mars last year in the second round. I think first round was first round last year. Moon this year. We tell people who were playing, if they're not familiar with the Pittsburgh area, they just give you a look.
Right.
There's
Right.
a school called Mars and Moon. As a sports guy, I've heard of these schools before.
Right.
So.
Dave
Yeah,
Brown,
those are- I was just getting to the
alumni
fact.
from there is the great John Calipari.
John, were you done? I'm sorry. I didn't
No, that was just a fun question, but they're both storied programs, Mars
Yeah,
and Moon, and
they really
they're
are.
in the state tournament every single year in and year out. So it's quite an accomplishment to beat them both in 1 year.
Soccer, girls' sports, they're just great sports schools. Dave?
Yeah, John Calipari. All right, let's see. You got Chartiers Valley. TJ McConnell's not playing for them, even though yeah, exactly. And you don't have to coach against his dad, who is a crazy man, and he's funny as heck. So anyway, so you got the Chartiers Valley, and tell us about them.
I mean, at this point in the year, everybody's pretty darn good, right? They're phenomenal teams. Maybe they have a stud player. Chartiers plays incredibly hard. Looks just watching them, they look very well coached. They shoot the three ball really well, so we're gonna have to really defend a three. They got a 6'5" sophomore that's pretty talented, already getting Division I looks. So hey, it is what it is. You get this far, you're not playing to the teams that you saw in a regular season that only won a couple games. I mean, they're all gone now. So
Yeah, you could catch a good kind of seeding or a good portion of the bracket, and sometimes even for a couple games. But you get to this point, you're gonna beat some stud teams. You have to beat really good teams to get any further.
Really, at this point to move on, it takes an A game. You just can't be average or good and move on. You got to be pretty great to move on.
So let's finish out this way. We haven't done this in a while. This is another fun thing. We call this 3 coaches. Okay. I'm going to ask you about 3 different coaches that you've had to have had in your life at some point. The coach that you admire the most. And it could be at any level. It can't be your dad. Okay. If your dad was a coach, that's okay. But
he didn't coach. No.
It could be Phil Jackson, John Calipari, or at any level. Who do you admire the most?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably actually start with the guy we already talked about, Parrish Petrie, because he's taught me so much as a player and as a coach. And I worked with him in summer off-season workouts he used to run, skill development. He's really taught me about just keeping it simple. Make the game simple. We want the kids to understand what we want them to do. We try not to overcomplicate things. And then let them grow, give them confidence. So when they're going out on the court, they feel good about themselves. Now, you mentioned Phil Jackson. I was always a Chicago Bulls fan, Michael Jordan fan. I've read a couple of Phil Jackson books. I think I just finished one a couple of weeks ago. So he would definitely be, at the top when you're talking about like the big name, pro college coaches.
Okay. So the second coach would be your mentor or a mentor. And I think we're going to go back to your answer to number 1, right?
Yeah.
Another one? Do you want to throw another one out there?
Yeah. George Shue is a guy I played football for in high school. Was a pretty legendary coach, coached at Littlestown and came over to Redline. I don't know, won some crazy amount of football games. He recently passed away last fall, but he was another really good coach. Fortunate to play for some pretty good coaches in high school. So definitely was another mentor there from my high school days.
Okay, and then the third coach would be the toughest for you to coach against. Maybe they don't know it at this point. Maybe you're just keeping this to yourself.
No, so far, I would give it to Paul Blackburn at Hershey. There's a lot of great coaches, and I'm sure I'm missing people, and I've gone up against a lot of great coaches. He's one that, last year they were probably a little better than us. They were bigger, stronger. This year I thought we might have been a little better, and we got him. But when I go up against him, I try to bring my A game, but I know I'm probably not we're probably going to break even as coaches. I'm
Right,
not going
right,
to get
right.
one over on him, and I'm hoping he's not going to get one over on me. But he's a darn good coach.
Kind of a different level kind of coach. And there's a lot of coaches out there, but we love Paul. You know, all of us here. He was on the show 3 times last year, by the way. That's going to be that record's going to go last as long as the show does. Just for different reasons. He came on at first just like you are now, and then we brought him back in the postseason, and then we brought him back again after he went to the state championship. So we got to.
Okay, well, I'll come back. I'll come back if we get there. All right. I'll
Okay,
come back.
yeah, you'd be welcome to. Yeah. Okay, well, listen, I asked you for 20 minutes. We're at 20 minutes and 25 seconds. And Coach Garrett Bull from West York, thank you very much for your time.
Anytime.
Best wishes to your guys against Chartiers Valley, and winner goes to Hershey. If you notice, we didn't talk about that, Coach.
I didn't say that, but you really asked. The goal for our group is to just get to the dang Giant Center and play.
Right.
We almost got there last year, and then this year we thought we were going to get there,
Right.
and the Giant Center wasn't hosting district championship,
Right.
so
that's a
there.
kick, man. That really is. That stinks. So that's another reason for you guys to win this one.
Yeah.
So have a great practice tomorrow and go get it.
I'm actually off to practice right now. We're going on Sunday night. So
okay. Well, we appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you,
Good
guys.
luck,
Love what
Coach.
you do for the kids. This is good.
Have a great evening. Wow, that was great. We've been blessed, guys, with some really great coaches. He's a cool guy, nice guy, and man, we say it every week. I try not to root for teams or coaches, but I'm rooting for that guy and his West York Bulldogs for sure. So,
Yeah, hopefully we have him back on next week, Joe.
Listen, I'll have him back 2 weeks in a row. And,
Yeah.
If things work out.
The one thing you didn't mention about his team, Joe, that you mentioned to me, because we've been talking about them for weeks. What is it? That they don't have that much height.
I did. I said you got a bunch of guards. I did say that. I said you have a bunch of guards and lots of running of the floor and high IQ players.
They play the right way is what stood out to me. Like they just seem like they're fluid and they play as a team.
What
right?
stood out to me, yeah. And he said that they don't run a lot of offense, like a lot of plays on offense, because he's got so many athletes. And that's the one thing that our friend Steve Little said to me about Central Dauphin. And I'm switching gears here, but it's the same type of team, not a lot of height. And I said, boy, they don't run like a lot of half-court offense, Steve. And he goes, no. He goes, when you have that many athletes, he said you don't want to reel them in too much or too often. So, okay, let's hit some housekeeping up before we go to our quarterfinals. And let's talk about who's left. And we've been doing this, I think, every week. Who's left in in District 3? And that would be Central Dauphin, West York in 5A, 6A, 5A, Trinity in 3A, and that Eagle is High Point Baptist in 1A. So there are 4 District 3 teams remaining. And who's left? Let's kind of narrow it down a little bit. Who's left in the Mid-Penn Conference, Central Dauphin, and Trinity?
How about that, Larry Kostelack?
Yeah,
Larry Kostelack.
He's piled up some wins, that's for sure. On the girls' side, we don't mention girls much on this show, but only 1 left in District 3. Playing for the 6A, the right to go to advance.
Against Altoona.
Yeah, and then
Dallas.
Yeah, they're the only team left from District 3 with Susquehanna Township losing, Trinity losing, and then the only team left from the Mid-Penn Conference is Altoona.
Okay, who's going to win that game tomorrow?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They're two really good teams. They're well coached.
And just to mention, that's tricky because they're in the Mid-Penn, but they play out of District 6.
It is tricky. It is tricky.
They're not District 3 team, but they're Mid-Penn team.
Right.
Just for anybody
John, I do this for a living, and I still get confused. I still fumble through that a lot of times.
All right, who wins Upper Dublin Archbishop Carroll girls? 6A.
Oh boy, they're the 2 best.
Girls.
Yeah, girls.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that the Dallas Town or the Altoona people are watching the show, but I think Carroll and Upper Dublin are the 2 best girls teams. Boy, Upper Dublin got all they could handle from Hazleton, Dave.
Yep.
I think Carroll. I just think
What a
Carroll.
great story, Altoona though. First time. I mean, they storied program. 17
What a
trips,
game too. They were
but
down.
they have not been this far, Altoona, since 2005.
Yeah, they were down
So-
10 in the fourth.
Yep.
And they
Yeah,
just
but they've made a lot of trips to the Final Four in their
N-
history
back they've
back
won,
in the
yeah.
day.
they've won
Yeah.
a couple of state championships.
Yeah. As
But
I
it's just
said,
been a long time. That's what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
How much do you guys think man, seedings seem to play in, this is a total shifting of gears here, but seedings seem to play a big role in
Big
how
time.
well, like I said to Coach Bull that was just on, you can get lucky or fortunate and stumble through a game or even two sometimes, but once you get to the third round, it all changes. But you can get fortunate with seedings and win a game or two, and I've seen it a lot. And I don't want to get specific about it, but because I don't want to discount anything that anybody's done.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just kind of strange. Like on the girls' side, if you get a District 12 team, District 12 is not known a public District 12 team, right, Dave? You understand what I'm saying? There's not a lot of great District 12 publics. It's a very, very good draw.
I don't think any Philadelphia public school girls team has even been to the state finals.
Yeah, that's a good point. But there's
If I'm wrong, somebody please chime in. But yeah.
So here's another housekeeping. We're just going to go down the list. York High's Brandon DeShields. I love him as a player. He's big. He's 6'7", 6'8". He got suspended. They had to play their last game. And Dave, you know about this, for using like a gun signal. And I don't think he was using it in a threatening or a menacing way. I'm pretty sure he wasn't, and I understand why they have that rule. John, you're familiar with that rule, right? You can't do like an archer, and they're doing that. I think where my kind of disdain for that rule is, and it's not just that rule, but it's the way that they suspend these players, is why he has to sit out the next game.
So, I mean, they used to just do technical foul or something. When did the suspensions come in? I mean,
think early
doesn't make any
2020s, early 2020s, 2020, 21, 22, something like that. Just a few years ago is my understanding. But
I mean, if you want to give a kid a technical, fine, but there's to suspend him and have him sit out at the next game because of that.
and they had to play Imhotep. And I'm not
That
saying they
seems a
would have
little
been.
extreme.
It does to me too. And I know he's a really awesome young man, and it's a well-coached group down there. I guarantee you, Coach Glover's not encouraging his guys to like do gun symbols or what do they call it? Gestures and gun gestures.
So the arrow thing's not allowed either anymore.
Nope.
Well, you can't draw the arrow back
No,
and shoot it.
No. I think you can hold the what is it called? The bow.
The javelin,
You can hold the bow in your hand.
the bow.
So anyway, okay, the games and the times. This is because people, they want to know this stuff, guys. Dave, I get a lot of inbox messages. When's this game? When's that game? What time's this game? Let's go with, this is it right here, guys. This weekend, and the lower class games are usually earlier in the day. So you have, well, you can look at it yourselves, but back at Giant Center, another year, kind of the two big.
Joe, that's the boys championship games.
That's the championship games. Yeah.
All at the Giant Center.
Yeah. Dave, do you remember the days when Hershey Park Arena, they used to have games like they weren't just the final games. They just hold big games down there because they knew that a lot of people were going to show up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, announced a bunch of them when I was.
I'm
the
sure you
voice
did,
of
yeah.
Carlisle basketball.
And then here's the girls. I know it's a boys show, but I like
You
girls
gotta-
basketball. Man, I was talking to Coach G, Randy Gambalungi, last week, and I said, man, I 6A girls ought to get a Friday night at 8 game. Let the 5A boys get to 6 o'clock. Give them it's great basketball. It is superb. John, I know you were kind of late to the game with girls basketball, but just it kind of wore off on you a little bit hanging out with me and Coach G. But 6A, a 6A girls basketball state championship is something to behold. It really
Right.
is.
No, yeah.
It's
Yeah, I
just-
mean, I always grew up only watching boys games, and
Yeah.
that's happens with a lot of people. And you go to your first girls game, and it's a little bit different action, and it's you got to get more used to it, and you fall in love with it just as much as you fall in love with the boys games. You've got to give it a
Absolutely.
chance. you
yeah,
know?
and I don't like boys any less. Of course, I like the boys games too. So, let's see here: boundary versus non-boundary, or public versus private. There are 24 teams left. 16 are private or charter. 8 are public. So that's kind of real sideways again, like very sideways. When there's only 20% of the schools are private in the state. How about the remaining 2025 finalists? These are teams that made the finals last year: Sankofa Academy, the Neighborhood Academy, Sewickley Academy, West Catholic, Devon Prep, and Father Judge. All are still alive. And then the 2025 champions that are still alive: the Neighborhood Academy in 1A, West Catholic in 3A, Devon Prep in 4A, Father Judge in 6A. The only two that are out, Dave, from last year. Do you guys know who they might be?
Linville Hill.
Bam! There's one. That's great. Now you should know the second one. You guys should both get the second one. Dave.
Oh, Roman Catholic.
West Catholic.
No, we're talking champions, and West Catholic still.
Roman Catholic.
No, because Father Judge was the champ.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, champ. Wait.
Champ. But no, you got Linville Hill's one of them. They won 2A last year, and they're out. The obvious.
Newman Goretti.
There you go.
Yeah.
The
I was
voice
just
of
going to say,
Delco.
who beat Hershey? That was
The
Newman
voice of
Goretti, right?
Delco nailed them both. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, that's
very,
what I was
very,
going to say.
If they had their 3 players, they'd be there again. But anyway.
very good, Dave. So that's about it for then. We had a lot of housekeeping. I wanted to do what districts were rep, but we'll wait till next week till there's 12 teams left, and then we'll talk about what districts. And we already know it's probably going to be District 12 that's going to have the most the most representation. So anyway, let's jump into this and start with 1A, as we always do, and kind of spend a couple minutes on it. We don't always spend too much time on it, but here's who's left, guys. High Point Baptist out of District 3. They're playing Sankofa Freedom
That's
Academy.
not good. I don't think that's going to be pretty, man.
You don't think it's going to end well for High Point Baptist?
I
He
was
said
public
it's not
address
gonna be
announcer on
pretty.
Friday night at Coatesville. Sankofa took on York Country Day. That game went overtime. Sankofa is loaded. York Country Day is loaded. So I'm looking for a state final of rematch. Sankofa, Philadelphia Pub, Neighborhood Academy from the Pittsburgh City. And this year, Sankofa and Councilman Isaiah Thomas will win it all.
Neighborhood Academy, yes, from Pittsburgh City, but they are a District 7 school. Because,
Oh, okay.
right? Yeah, but no, you're right though. They are from this. Not every city school is a District 8 school out there.
Yeah,
Some
they're
of them,
from the hood neighborhood.
he said that's not going to be pretty.
don't-
I like that. Dave.
And a High Point's a very solid program. Sankofa's just, or Your Country Day, just enough. And Chester Charter, if we could have gotten by Your Country Day, we would have shot. But we'll see.
High Point Baptist, they did win District 3. We mentioned that earlier. And then Dave, you just mentioned that that a Sankofa versus Neighborhood Academy rematch would be the two teams that played last year, with the Neighborhood Academy winning. So, all right, so there's District 1, District 2, Old Forge. Old Forge out of District 2
Cold Crackers.
playing against United out of District 6. John, what's Old Forge known for?
Pizza.
There you go. Pizza capital of the world.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's the best pizza. It's square pizza.
It's a different pizza.
It's really good. They do their pizza in trays instead of a pie.
Like pans.
Yeah, they call it a tray, and then instead of a slice, they call it a cut. However, it's a cool trip. I took my grandson up there. It's 4 or 5 years ago now. We did they do like bar trots, like they used to do bar trots. You go from bar, you have a shot at every we had a slice of pizza at like 8 different places. That was so much fun, and the pizza was really good.
Not far from you guys. I mean, it's a lot of bars and churches in the towns like that.
It's,
Mount Carmel, Shenandoah.
It's a different kind of vibe. 15 miles north of Wilkes-Barre. It's
Yeah.
for those watching, if you've never been up there, it's a cool little place to go. An hour and 45 minutes north of Harrisburg. It's in Lackawanna County. So anyway, it's Old Forge and United against Sewickley Academy on the other side versus Mercyhurst Prep. That's District 7 versus District 10.
Yeah, I guess according to the Jeanette coach, Mercyhurst, the Jeanette coach said that his team was screwed by the officials.
We are going to get to that like in seconds. Okay, we got to talk about that. And I only know about it.
Did you saw the article, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
So again, Sewickley Academy lost to Linville Hill in last year's final. So the recurring theme here, and it happens not just last year and this year. It happens all the time that most of the same teams or programs go deep into the state tournament every year. So let's talk about that, Dave. Jeanette lost to Mercyhurst. We were kind of rooting for a Jeanette Sewickley Academy rematch because they kind of had a throwdown in District 7 in the championship game, and it didn't happen. It's not going to happen because Mercyhurst Prep beat Jeanette. Jeanette coach furious is Adrian Batts. He's the coach. After a foul call leads to decisive points in state quarterfinals versus Mercyhurst Prep. And this is what
does that mean, winning points or what? With decisive points? Does that mean
important points? And I think they might have been the game-winning points. You can't come to District 10 and get cheated like that. That's bad. You have to let the kids decide the game. Bat said they call a foul 30 feet from the hoop. You have to wonder, do you call if it was a foul, it was a foul, but do you call it, in that situation? I mean, I didn't see it. So that's ridiculous. I'm not taking away anything from Mercyhurst. I love that he said that. Those kids played hard and they earned it. But with the officials, that was absolutely horrendous. Just don't understand why you take control of the game. That's bad. Prep won the game, but the officiating was horrible, absolutely horrible. Our kids played great. Gives us players the props. I'm so proud of them. It's disheartening that the guys in the stripes take it away. Bat said they shot 33 free throws. That's ridiculous. But the PIAA got what they wanted. That's where I don't agree at all. Okay.
Yeah.
They got 2 academy teams playing, so they got what they wanted. Private school, private school, private school. Okay. I would think. I know, Dave. Dave. I was talking to Dave earlier. We often talk on the phone, and he's like, "Oh man, this coach from Jeanette really." I don't think that. I know that the PIAA isn't setting games up, right, John? They're not, especially with all the pressure about the private versus public. Why would they want additional private versus private?
That's a lot of frustration coming out of that coach right there. You hate to blame the loss solely on the one play of the game. I'm sure if Jeanette made one other play or one less mistake during the whole rest of the game, it wouldn't have come to that too. So
great.
I mean, it's tough. It's frustrating, and he probably should have handled it a little bit better. That's just my opinion.
We're not here to blast Coach Batts. We're really not.
Dave, did you see the replay of that foul call or?
No.
Okay. So we don't know exactly, if it was a foul, if it wasn't a foul, but
I mean, it could have been a screen. It could have been like a screen, like way far away from the play. And I don't know though. Do you call that or not? When you're in referee school, they tell you to call all the plays. So anyway, let's move on to 3A, and that would be West Catholic matching up with Notre Dame Green Pond, District 12, District 11, and then on the other side is Trinity versus Bishop Guilfoyle. That's four Catholic schools there. Trinity again won District 3. They last appeared in a championship game in 2019, lost to Lincoln Park. I think it's an overtime game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Really good game. And so West
Notre Dame
Catholic,
Green Pond, my man Pat Boyle does a great job. Longtime head coach, one of my Avalon basketball playing buddies.
wow. Okay.
Someday we'll get you up to the
That's
court.
notable. I'll coach. How about if I coach? I got a couple bad wheels here, Dave. Ankles, back. But hey, Dave, he's not buying it. Look.
You're so young.
West Catholic beats South Allegheny in last year's championship game, so they have an opportunity to go back. I really like Trinity's chances. I think they're going to win the game. I think West Catholic's going to beat Notre Dame Green Pond, and then we're going to have a West Catholic Trinity final. That's my opinion. Congratulations to those 4 teams, and good luck moving forward. How about 4A? And I think we have a little more to talk about here in 4A because we had one of our local teams went down. We're going to have Lewisburg out of District 4. You don't see that often, Dave. District 4 versus
First time they've ever been there. It's not Lewistown. Which
Lewisburg.
Is County. It's Lewisburg.
Bucknell University.
Bucknell,
area.
yeah.
And then they're going to play Devon Prep, who entered the postseason at 5-18. We had Coach Jason Fisher on last. Love that interview, by the way. Coach Jason Fisher talked about how a team gets into the postseason with a 5-18 record. They play like a really difficult schedule. They play a lot of schools with a lot higher enrollments. So anyway, it matters how you're playing now, and they're playing really well, Devon Prep. We have did you guys think the state of Florida has caught up with the northern state in terms of developing a lead talent for position? We are being, I don't understand the question, Anthony. I'm sorry. I really don't. Who are
the 4 teams alive in 4A, Joe?
Lewisburg versus Devon Prep and Carver. ENS, Carver ENS versus Obama Academy. And
Obama's a story. Barack Obama Academy of the Arts.
And Carver's the school, and Obama Academy, they're a Pittsburgh City team. They're actually a District 8 team.
Okay.
And Carver Engineering and Science, they're the team that came in District 12 with a 5 seed because they had to forfeit 2 games. They had to forfeit a game that they were up like 10 or 12 against Constitution. They ended the game because of some fans, I believe. Right? I know their players ran out on the floor. There was kind of a ruckus. So they lost that game, and then they had to take the next game away, but they still made states. And here they are. They knocked off Berks Catholic.
Unlucky for Berks Catholic. Remember that.
Yeah, we know Berks Catholics really well. Really good, I mean. Devon Prep won last year's 4A title game over Berks Catholic and have won 3 of the last 4, fellas. 2 in 3A, 1 in 4A. And this is the only classification that this could happen, a possible District 12 versus District 12 championship, which we had in 6A last year with Father Judge versus Roman Catholic. So let's talk about McDevitt and Lewisburg. That was what a game. What a game.
Lewisburg's the only public school still left in that 4A, right, Joe?
Correctamundo. Yeah. That's how you get to 16 non-boundaries versus 8 boundaries. There's some of these there's the last 2 classifications. That's 7 of 8, John. We had 4 out of 4 and 3 out of 4. I watched the McDevitt Lewisburg game. Admittedly, I didn't give Lewisburg much chance, much hope. Only because I think McDevitt's really good. Okay. Especially for a 4A school going up against a public 4A school. I still think McDevitt would probably beat him 6-7 times out of 10. And, again, and I doubt there are, but if there's any Lewisburg people watching, they're not going to like me too much. And Lewisburg won the game. They earned the game. They got up, they were up 15 at one point, and then McDevitt cut it down to, I think, as low as they were down 1 late in the game. But a couple really questionable. I don't even know. We can't really call it calls from the officials because it was clock situations, clock management. Dave, did you hear about this?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to follow, but I think you told me exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So it wasn't anything that affected the outcome, though. But it was just weird situations that
McDevitt won the game. Had McDevitt won the game, and they very easily could have, as it turned out.
Right.
It would have.
Oh, for sure.
There's a shot that should not have been counted.
No, it should have counted.
I mean, it should have counted. John, thank you for clearing that up. It should have counted, but there should have been no time left on the clock. That should have been the ball game.
It did count, and
Yes.
that shot
Yes.
put McDevitt down 2 points.
Two.
But the time should have run out. The game should have been over.
Should have been
But
over.
somehow they got a timeout called with no time left on the clock, right?
Yeah, right. Well, but the other thing is, but then they added 4.4 seconds, and you can't add 0.4 seconds. Well, you can add whatever you want, but they put 0.4 seconds back on the clock, which allows you to what is it
Catch
called?
and shoot.
Yeah, catch and shoot, or like you don't have to tip it in. And so then you got 0.4 seconds, and there, if you see in the left side, the Lewisburg player, 0.4 seconds. He has the ball. Great play by Patrick Dinesco. He chucks it down. Dinesco intercepts it. He was on kind of almost on a dead run. There it is. Okay. Dinesco was on a dead run the other way, catches it kind of almost over his shoulder. Then he has to stop.
The clock should have been out.
Turn around. Watch this. Now he's squared up there. He's squared up.
The clock still hasn't started.
Okay, look. He didn't just chuck it. He got himself ready in position and okay, now he let it go. This clock still hasn't started. Now the ball, if you see it there, it's 15 feet out of his hands, and the clock
Still hasn't started.
I mean, the man got a lot accomplished, right? And so anyway, look, man. Dave, did you follow that? I mean,
Yeah, it was.
That's bad. That's really and okay. What made it even more dramatic? The shot almost went in, guys. Okay, it was a whale of a play by Dinesco. All right, it was a whale. How would you feel if you were Lewisburg and that ball would have gone in? That's a
Oh my God, that would have been crazy.
That wins the game for McDevitt. But the level of kind of court awareness and athleticism. We like Patrick Dinesco as a player, John. We always have. He's been good since he was a freshman, and to be able to intercept that ball, kind of on a dead run the other way, the ball went over his shoulder, turn around. I don't care if the clock should have been started and the time should have been out. The guy still made a really great play. So anyway, we're going to turn that into a positive. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, tough break for McDevitt. They had a chance to get into the Final Four. They had a great season, so hats off to them.
Yeah, really good team. Really good.
But
team.
like you said, those two little ref officials gaffes didn't cost Lewisburg the game. So no harm, no foul.
Absolutely,
it's something that we can just talk about and bring to light because it could happen down the road where plays like that do decide the outcome of a game.
I would hate to see that happen to a team, man. Okay, so let's move on to 5A. We'll wish Lewisburg Devon Prep and our friend Coach Jason Fisher, Carver Engineering and Science and Obama Academy, well moving forward. 5A Bonner Prendergast in District 12 versus Upper Moreland. Dave, tell us about Upper Moreland.
Yeah, the very solid team. They're athletic, well.
District 1, by the way.
What's that?
District 1. I should have mentioned that.
Yeah, we haven't had a District 1 boys basketball state champ since 2013 when Lower Merion beat Chester. This is our only chance. They're going to have to beat Bonner. Then they're going to have to beat either West York or Chartiers Valley. But Bonner, to me, is clearly the favorite to go all the way and at least give us a Delaware County boys high school basketball state champion for the first time since Chester won it in 2012. So that's my opinion. Bonner all the way and Billy Cassidy.
Okay. And I would probably not argue with you there.
How about, and again, Springfield Delco gave them a tough game with the mixture of Springfield, the 6'6" kid Will Carr, sophomore. Keep an eye on him next couple of years. And of course, those couple lacrosse guys, PIAA state champs in lacrosse.
They're tough kids, aren't they? They're tough.
And football guys. So shout out to Springfield, Delaware County High School. Last spring, state champs in the large school class, lacrosse. You know how good our lacrosse is down here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Marple Newtown boys won it in AA state championship. The football team, District 1 champs over Chester. You remember that game? in the fall, and then they went to the state semis, had a run in the Roman, and Roman won that game big. And then state quarterfinals of basketball. So Springfield, Delaware County, some great athletes from there. Pros, Jeff Petrie played for the Portland Trailblazers, if you remember him. And of course, a guy that has a couple of World Series, 2 as a player and 1 as a manager, Mike Sosha.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Dodgers.
Yep. There you go. What do you think of that, John?
That's impressive.
Yep.
Bonner Prendy. They Central Dolphins 28-3, and one of the games they lost was the Bonner Prendergast, and that was in overtime. Now, and I'm not taking the win away. It is what it is, but that was before D'Olimpio was eligible. So, but they were still a really good team, Central Dauphin. Okay, what I'm saying is Bonner Prendy's pretty darn good that they were able to beat one of the last 4 6A schools. So,
and Bonner Prendy very young. They have about 6, 7 guys back. Corey Francis,
of course they are.
Most of them. So,
both finalists from last year. This is the only class out of 6. Both finalists from last year are out. Newman Goretti and Hershey. Only class with this distinction. All the other classes have at least one finalist from last year remaining. Yeah. So, all right. So how about 6A?
Did you mention the other side of the bracket, Joe? 5A.
I think I said that. Oh no,
yeah, we talked about that on the interview.
No, look, man. What would I say this every week, and I mean it every week? What would I do without John? Thank you, John. West York. How can I forget West York?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Out of District 3.
Well, it's hard to because we already talked about the game in a way.
I know. That's probably not why I forgot, though. District 3, West York, Chartiers Valley out of District 7. Both of these teams, man, let's see. West York has 2 losses all year. They're like whatever and 2, 26, 27 and 2. And Chartiers Valley, they haven't lost. Chartiers Valley basketball, they are 25-3. So these are some good teams here, you know. Man, I'll tell you what though, Chartiers Valley is going to have to be pretty darn good to beat West York. And I'm not saying that to stroke Coach Bull or anything because he's not watching anyway, but that is a good team. But they're all good at this point, like Coach Bull said.
Dave, if you think Bonner's got the upper edge on the other 3 teams in that class 5A classification, right? Would West York or Chartiers Valley have a shot against Bonner?
I think
they match up.
Could be a good game. Could be.
Okay.
Depends. Corey Francis is what makes a 6'4" junior, pride of Chester Biddy League. Also, Corey makes that team go. So if you can somehow, some way, shut him down, frustrate Corey, you got a shot.
And you'd hope. Probably have to, of course you'd hope, but you'd probably have to get a performance, an execution similar to what West York had against Milton Hershey. You have that, you get your guys to show up like that, you're beating really, really good teams. I mean, heck, like I said, they won by like 25, 26, 27 against Milton Hershey. So
we'll see what happens.
But
if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would have to favor the edge goes to Bonner, and all their guys are eligible this year. They've had some guys because of that transfer rule are out over the last 4 or 5 years. Now they got everybody, and we'll see.
I would think the edge would have to go to Bonner. So, okay. Thanks for the heads up, John. Now we're going to move on to 6A, and we have 4 teams, of course, representing 3 different districts. Central Dauphin out of District 3 versus Upper St. Clair out of District 7. And Father Judge out of District 12 versus Imhotep out of District 12. And that's Philly Public versus Philly Private in District 12. And Father Judge, they are the defending 6A champions. They beat Roman last year. And that was, again, District 12 versus District 12, both Philly Catholic. And, John, we like how they have them on the same side, right, this year? Like, these 2 stud teams, so somebody else can get it. Didn't you and I talk about that?
Yeah, I mean,
match up, you know, because they probably are the 2 best teams, you know.
I mean, they historically the last few years probably, but I mean, it's fortunate for we're District 3, our Central Dolphin team. It's fortunate for them that they're on the other side of the bracket.
I think so.
But we don't know anything about Upper St. Clair. I mean, I don't know anything. Upper St. Clair might be the best team out of all 4 teams. I don't know.
You never know. I think Upper St. Clair only has like 2 losses, and wins and losses. That only tell they're 28-1.
Yeah,
And that only tells part of the story. You don't know who they beat. The only team they lost to all year, they just avenged that loss, was Central Catholic, Pitt Central Catholic. They lost by 2 in overtime back in the second week in December. So this team, similar to the same as Central Dolphin, have not lost in a long time. Central Dolphin, they lost all their games early. So Central Dolphin, first time back to the day. Dave, thank you for your post. You had a really good post about Central Dolphin. First time back to the semis, state semifinals since 2012. They lost to undefeated eventual state champ Chester and future 6-year NBA player Rondé Hollis Jefferson. That team finished 34-0, that Chester team, and they kind of ran Central Dolphin out of whatever gym they were playing in. I don't know what gym it was.
Then they blew out Chester Lower Merion 59-33 in the final game. That's the last Delaware County. You know how many schools we have in Delaware County boys basketball team to win a PIAA state title.
Well,
Chester again ended up, as we said, undefeated. And the next year we played Lower Merion. Lower Merion beat us. We should have won 3 in a row with Rondé.
Well, that was when we had only 4 classifications, right?
Right, correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when do we go to 6? Was it 2016?
16, 17. Yeah. So, and that was a Devin Thomas Central Dolphin team. But you ever notice when it's a team with an eventual NBA player like Carlisle with Billy Owens, like Lonnie Walker at Reading, like they win state championships. And of course, Kobe at Lower Merion, not all the time, but you only need kind of like a limited supporting cast. And I'm sure that Dave, that Chester team had more than just a limited supporting cast. They were probably
we need to get back.
I think I remember that game, Joe. Were you at that championship game at the Giant Center?
Yeah.
Central Dolphin, if I remember.
That was the semis, though.
Semifinals at Reading. That was at the guy.
It was at Reading, yeah. And then the finals were at Giant Center, of course.
But did CD make it to the final that year?
No, they lost.
Okay.
I mean, they might have been the second best team. It's hard to tell, but you have to play the best teams at some point, and they played them in the semifinals.
Devin Thomas, baby.
Yeah, Devin Thomas. 4-year starter at Wake Forest after that, played overseas. So, yeah, I mean.
You saw the pictures I posted. I sent you guys. Jay Crozier.
Okay, guys, how many? We like to do trivia every now and Dave, you nailed the last one. How many titles do you think Imhotep have won? State championship.
Dave knows that.
Time. Okay. I'm going to let. Okay. I know, obviously, because I have the whole history. But John, how many do you think Imhotep, a public school?
John, what a gentleman! He's trying to give you a chance.
Yeah, it's got to be somewhere.
It's the same amount. There's 3 teams with this amount: Kennedy Catholic,
Newman Goretti.
It's got to be 12.
And no,
a little lower. You're close.
A little lower, John.
Yeah, then 9.
10.
Oh, 10. You're very good, Dave.
And
this is the interesting part.
The team with the pure boundary public school with the most state titles, boys basketball, is Chester with 8.
Yes.
And
I
18 trips to the PIAA state finals, 30 trips Chester to the state semis. Can you believe?
Wow.
I like Chester's 8 better than I like those other schools' 10, by the way.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my opinion. And this is interesting. Let's break the Imhotep titles down. They have 3 in Class 2A, 1 in Class 3A, 3 in Class 4A, 3 in Class 5A, 0 in Class 6A. So they have a chance. They're the team to beat. What do you think, Dave?
They're playing an unbelievable level of basketball. They lost to Parkland earlier this year, 36-34 up in Parkland. just a low-scoring, old-fashioned defensive struggle, slow it down. But that was probably the worst thing that happened to Parkland.
Yeah, right.
As Keith Groller from the Allentown Morning Call said, and he just said, they're too much. They have too much. They have too much.
70-39 is.
Did they play? Did Father Judge and Imhotep play during the regular season, or
Yes, in the
What
city
happened?
championship game again. And
what was
Imhotep
that?
beat them.
that
They were
result?
up like 10, 15 points that game, and they pulled it out. It was a close game at the end.
Yeah,
Imhotep.
Imhotep. Let's see here. Yeah, I watched the last quarter and a half of that game. It was in a small gym, Dave. Where were they playing that
Which one?
game? The Imhotep Father Judge.
That was.
It was not a big gym.
That was Archbishop Ryan.
I believe you're right. That's not a big gym, is it?
No, a lot of the guys. I was PA guy for Father Judge last week when they played Springford first round of the states, and Father Judge on TV. It looks like a big gym, but it's small.
Okay, they played during the regular season too, John. Just to answer
That's
your
right.
question.
Yeah.
Imhotep beat them by 11 during the regular season and by 2 in the private versus public District 12 championship game. So
I
Joe,
don't know, man. When I saw Imhotep earlier, if they have all their guys set and they come to play and they're playing like the old Chester teams back in the day, relentless 32 minutes of hell, and they got size and they got we'll go one game at a time there because Father Judge is Father Judge.
Father Judge, Joe, do we talk about them going to double overtime with Central York?
I don't think we did. No.
Wasn't
no,
that
we didn't.
incredible? How about that Jeff Hoke?
Look, I told you guys, I told John for sure, and Dave, and you, Dave. Central York is really good. like when they were sticking with Central Dolphin. Now let's just remind everybody they playing without Brooklyn Nace, who probably is an all-state player.
Yeah.
He went off to I think Old Dominion. John, was it ODU? He's going to play
I'm not sure.
football in college, and he left early. But you kind of figured, well, of course they have a lot of good players left, but without Brooklyn Nace, that they wouldn't be able to accomplish much.
Yeah, how are they going to match up with Father Judge? And
I mean,
they had a chance to win the game in regulation, right?
Oh,
and then,
a good chance, and then a good chance, yeah. And they Central Dolphin beat them by that much. Can you see what I'm holding up, Dave? That much.
Yep.
Central Dolphin
Yep.
beat them by in the district championship game. So I have nothing but like a lot of respect for Central York and what Coach Jeff Hoke has accomplished down there.
So the first overtime was close, back and forth, and then the second overtime they just basically got blown out.
Yeah.
They ended up losing by I think 12.
Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine it was an exhausting game for them to hang with Father Judge, who's arguably, the top team in the state. Defending state champion.
82-68 in double overtime. But when I say that Central York is a team just full of guards, man, they are. They just a lot of guards and just well coached. They pick up what the coach is putting down. Is that Central York is the way they do it. So I guess Central Dolphin and Newcastle is worth just kind of touching on. It was a big game. It was a good game. Very even game for most of the game. I kind of thought Central Dolphin coming into the tournament had we're like a top 6 or 8 team. John, I mentioned that to you and Randy. I didn't think they were a top 2 or 3. I knew that that Roman was probably Wood was probably better. I knew that probably all 3 of the District 12 teams. I didn't know how good Souderton was. Central Dolphin got by them, but now they're in the Final Four. They've won the Commonwealth. They won the Mid-Penn tournament in a squeaker over McDevitt. They won District 3, squeaker over Central. They have a lot of squeakers, Central Dolphin, but they turn it on at the end when it matters most. They were winning at halftime 28-20, right, John? 28-20.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye, it was 31-28. Newcastle just turned it on.
Yeah, third quarter was 18-6 Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle had a 4-point lead entering the fourth quarter.
Yes, they did.
Central Dolphin only had 1 field goal in the third quarter.
Did you know that, Dave?
Yeah.
1 field goal.
Yeah.
1 field goal, a 2-point shot, and 4 foul shots is all they scored in the third. And then they ended up winning easily in the fourth.
I don't think they feel much, Central Dolphin. Like when they say ice water in their veins, I think they just know, like the coach tells them, guys, it's time, you're letting these guys hang around. And again, McDevitt, I mean, that was a 50-50 game down the stretch. I'm not saying that they turned it on at the end against McDevitt, because they didn't. They made a play and McDevitt wasn't able to stop them. But the point is, Central Dolphins, a team of runs. They go on really good offensive runs, but they also allow the opposition to go on runs. And I think they just you can't play at that level defensively the whole game. You can't. And the kind of defense they play, John. Dave, I don't know if you've watched Central Dauphin. They're just really quick hands. They're really fast, really athletic.
They caused Newcastle to have a lot of uncharacteristic turnovers last night.
Newcastle ended up kind of derailing down the stretch. They just couldn't take it anymore. So.
Which is amazing with they are younger. They have, the freshman, sophomore, the Cox kid. He was a little erratic. I know our buddy E.T. wasn't happy. A few of those guys didn't step up, but they get freshman, sophomore. So they'll have a lot of guys back next year. They're always going to be there. Ralph Blundo.
No, we lost Dave.
Where you at, Dave?
I'm here.
Ralph Blundo.
I think he was sucked
Ralph
into
Blundo.
the TV by a poltergeist.
That's what it looked like.
Ralph Blundo, the head coach. Remember when Newcastle in 2014 beat LaSalle College in the state final?
They
2014.
snuck them away mid sentence. Okay, so the last thing I want to mention, and I think it's worth mentioning, Seth Leonard. This is only his second year as a varsity coach. I thought he was at Susquehannock for 2 years. He was there for one season, 13-4 that year, but he wasn't playing anywhere near the level of competition he's playing. He was, I think that's York Adams 2 down there, the second conference, which would be like our Keystone. And I think that, we're quick to discount his performance as a coach. I am too. I have been too. And I think that people like us, that's just what we do. Nobody's ever said that he's not doing a good job, but when your team is that loaded, when you inherit a team like that, you cannot get to the Final Four, though, just standing on the sidelines and letting your guys just play. You just can't.
No, and we had Coach Seth Leonard on the show. We asked him these questions.
Yeah.
We know he's loaded with talent.
Yeah.
But that doesn't get you to the championship game, and win your games. I mean, you got to have something else.
You're right about that. And I think that he has grown into this team. This team has grown into him. I think there's a lot of trust there. Coach trusts his players. Players trust Coach Leonard. And I think you do have to know, like Steve Little said to me, you have to know when to not meddle with a team with this much athleticism, when to kind of just let them play. And that's what Coach Bull was saying about his guys. He's like, we don't run a lot of offense. So anyway, well done, Central Dauphin and Coach Seth Leonard and your staff. Great season, Coach, and I'm sure that the school and the Central Dauphin community is really glad to have you there. So,
Joe, when's the
how
last time?
how much money the PIAA is going to make if Central Dauphin makes the finals?
I have no clue how much.
Oh, that place is going to be There's going to be 10,000 people there.
No, there's not.
I think he was asking a rhetorical question.
I know he was.
You don't think Central Dauphin's going to have the entire Central PA there?
No.
Hershey did, right? Hershey?
They might bring 4,000 or 5,000.
They could bring 4,000 or 5,000, but they're not going to. It's not going to be like Reading and like.
Joe, when's the last time CD was in the Final Four?
Well, only one time ever, 2012.
In the Final Four once ever, 2012. Yeah.
So that's why it's so big. You had to have all the publicity. Everybody, Lancaster, York, Mifflin County.
Have they been to a championship game, Joe?
No, never.
Never.
Giant Center.
Yeah.
Central Dauphin. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a good time for Central Dauphin.
I mean, they got an opportunity. They made a run here, and they got an opportunity to get to the championship game. You couldn't ask for a better situation.
They're on the right side of
seeding.
they're on the right side of the brackets, or the correct side of the brackets. And boy, that kind of makes Central Dauphin and Upper St. Clair look like that. I don't respect them. I have a well of respect for both of those teams, but I would rather play Upper St. Clair, and if I was Upper St. Clair, I'd rather play Central Dauphin. than I would
Right. Yeah.
Imhotep
You'd
and
want
Father Judge.
to, any team would want to avoid Imhotep and Father Judge.
You would, yeah. So that's about it, fellas. Dave, you still with us? You got sucked into the poltergeist of
Find out Carrie Ann if she's still in there.
Can you hear me? You can
No,
hear
we
me.
can hear you fine. Yeah.
Just can't
Yeah.
see. How
We
about
just-
the college coaches, the Philly boys, Phil Martelli Jr., Virginia Commonwealth University, going to the NCAA tournament, first-year head coach. Fran McCaffrey was at Iowa all those years. The Penn Quakers, his first year, they beat Yale for the Ivy League championship. They're going to the NCAA tournament. And the pride of Western PA in Moon High School, Moon, John Calipari at Arkansas, he's going to the NCAA tournament.
Wow. Yeah.
Pennsylvania,
Dave,
we
follow my
roll,
voice,
man.
Dave. Follow my voice.
Excuse me?
Are you okay? Are you okay in there?
John, I tell you, John, you look better than ever. What do you do? Joe, what's he doing to look so good?
I don't know.
Yeah, he must have women left and right.
Probably eating Twinkies and drinking chocolate milk. All right, guys, thank you. That was a fun show. Good show. West York coach Garrett Bull, 10th year West York coach Garrett Bull has his team. Let's just say, I didn't want to say it while he was on, poised. They're poised for a trip to Giant Center. And let's hope they get there because, what a bad year or an unfortunate situation to go to a district championship game and have to play it somewhere other than Giant Center. That kind of had to stink for them. So they have Chartiers Valley, and Trinity has who did we say Trinity has, guys? I should mention them again because they have Bishop Guilfoyle, and then of course Central Dauphin has Upper St. Clair. So guys, thank you very much. We'll reconvene later in the week, and we'll talk about who we're going to get next week for our he's gone for our coach.
Hope Dave's still alive.
I think he got sucked into oblivion there. Thank you to our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. Thank you to John Velios, Dave Berman, West York coach Garrett Bull. We appreciate you tuning in, folks. Have a great evening.